Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, this janky mess you see here is my attempt at upgrading the GPU in my HP Pavilion Gaming PC. Just a quick recap of its original specs. It came with an i5-10400F, GTX 1650, a single stick of 8GB DDR4 RAM, and a 256GB M.2 SSD. And all this is powered by a proprietary 310W Gold Rated PSU. Now, I did say I would try upgrading it with my RTX 3060, but found mine is too big for this system. So I went and acquired a 4060, specifically the MSI Ventus 2X, which fits very nicely with plenty of room to spare. To power it, I have a secondary PSU and a jumper that allows it to power on without a motherboard, that I bought on eBay for less than £3, and it would have cost around £80 to buy a more powerful proprietary PSU. Now we're up and running, let's see what kind of performance we get from this HP pre-build. Right, we're going to start with GTA 5, run this at 1080p with MSAA set to ×4, no VSync, and very high settings. Now, obviously this is going to perform a lot better than the 1650, however, what I want to determine is if the 10400F is going to bottleneck the 4060. So we'll just, crank up the settings and see what happens, I guess. Right, here we go, and different starting location this time. Let's get on your bike, mate. Go. So far so good. We're averaging 120 odd FPS. We're not quite maxing out 4060, but maybe we could push it up. We could push it up to 40p, 4K. But what's the point? Let's. Oh, when did I get a helmet? It just drops it. Whatever. Let's go. Right. So yeah, it drops down to like 70, 80 FPS. We're not getting any bottlenecking from the. Well, I don't know. Are we getting bottlenecking from the 10400F? I mean, yeah, it's an older game now, so I'm not expecting it to be to max out the GPU unless we crank up the resolution. But yeah, as I say, we're not going to do that. We'll stick at 1080p as we go through the grass here. It's we're getting it's dropped down to 97. The percentile lows are fine. It's not stuttering. I mean, we are maxing out the 4060 now. We're in the grassy area. Oh shoot! Just how do we get out of here? Let's go. Oh no! Oh no! 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 It's all right. We're fine. It's fine. Car's fine. It's just a little dent. It'll buff out. Door's missing. It'll buff out. There's a thief. I thought I was the baddie. But yeah, it's pretty stable. It's not stuttering too bad. Yeah, the percentile lows are okay, but yeah, it's an absolute really good experience. You could probably, if you got a 1440p monitor, you could take it up to 4040p if you wanted to. In fact, should we do that? I think we'll do it. We'll see what 4040p gets us. Right, 4040p now, and the frame rate's not. I mean, yeah, we're getting like 80 odd FPS average, and that's absolutely fine. I think my car's a bit knackered. I'm gonna have to find another car, and the cops are after me. Like a Dodge Viper almost. Yeah, I mean 70, 80 FPS. Yeah, you can still play this at 1440p if you wanted to. Although the 4060 is not really a 1440p card, especially when it comes to modern games. I'm aware of that, but with older titles like GTA 5, you can play at 1440p just absolutely fine. But yeah, we're close to maxing out the 4060 now. We're not getting any bottlenecking from the 10400F. That said, though, obviously if we had a more powerful CPU, we'd probably get more frames. But by the looks of it, 10400F is perfectly capable. Anyway, shall we move on to the next one? Right, Witcher 3 now. We're going to run this with the high settings. We won't have any ray tracing on, no anti-aliasing, so no DLSS either. We're just running this at native resolution with all high settings. And let's see, we are getting 80 odd FPS, which is pretty good. So in terms of utilization, we're nearly maxing out the 4060. It's not quite maxed out. We might be getting a slight bottleneck there. I'm not really sure, but in general, this is all looking pretty good. You can play this comfortably at 1080p with this kind of configuration. I mean, it is dropping a bit. I mean, the percentile lows aren't great. but maybe we'll have to utilize the maybe DLSS and the frame generation to see what what the absolute max we can get out of it is. So yeah, we'll do that. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll enable DLSS and we'll set that to balanced. Oh, no, balanced there. No, what are you doing? There. Right. And then it is not making a great deal of difference. Hang on a minute. What are you playing at? Yeah, we've got DLSS set to balanced, yeah. And it's not making much difference. Still getting about 70 odd FPS. Percentile lows are looking slightly better. But yeah, we'll probably, if you want, as many frames as possible. Oh, actually, no, we're getting nearly 100, close to 100 FPS. It depends where we are, but it's when we're in town. Maybe this is where the CPU's kind of doing more of the work. The 10400F is seeing like 60% utilization. Clock speeds is stuck at 4006 megahertz, but one thing I've read up on is that even though the 10400F is advertised as having a boost clock speed of 4.3 gigahertz, that's only on a single core for about a few seconds. So that it maxes out at 4 gigahertz with all 6 cores running. So yeah, so we're not being throttled here or anything by the system, which you sometimes get in some pre-builds. Yeah, so it's running it. The only letdown here is the RAM speed. So that's probably where got a bit of a stutter there. So that's probably where what's going to let the system down the most is that 2667 megahertz RAM speed, which you can't really do anything about because how locked down the BIOS is. But still, this is still a good experience. It's adequate. But let's see what happens when we add frame gen into the mix. Right, so we'll enable frame generation, and how much difference are we going to get here? What's happened there? There we go. Whoa. Wow, frame generation certainly makes a difference there. We're getting 134 average. That is really impressive. And it doesn't look any worse from what I can see. So that's really good. I mean, I've never used frame generation before. This is like, I've tested frame generation out with Cyberpunk 2077, which we'll move on to next. And yeah, it makes a huge difference to the frame rates. It's unbelievable how how much of a difference it makes, and without that much loss in quality either. 160 FPS, that's just, and we were getting 60 at first. I mean, the thing is, I'll be honest, the 4060 I've bought is not. I don't plan on keeping it. I don't know. Frame gen's a good thing, but when I've already got a 3060, it's. But anyway, frame gen, yeah, you definitely utilize frame gen if you really want to. If you've got a 40 series card, if you've got a 144 hertz monitor like I have, make the most of it. Right, Cyberpunk 2077 now. We'll go with the high preset for now. We won't have any DLSS or frame generation, any of that for now, and see how we get on with just running at native resolution. So, that's looking promising. We're getting a 70 odd FPS without any kind of frame generation. That is pretty good. I mean, if this is just at native resolution, I wonder what having frame generation level. We need to try that ray trace, path trace, or whatever it's called as well. That new ray tracing feature. See if we can actually see any difference. I mean, to be fair, Cyberpunk 2077 is still a fantastic looking game without any ray tracing. I mean, the ray trace is just. You only notice the ray tracing in minute details, like in the puddle reflections and such. But no, this is all looking good. In terms of utilization, we may be getting some bottlenecking there. The 46 is not being pushed to the max. The i5s are hovering at 80% as well. So maybe if we do add some ray tracing, it might ease that bottleneck, I think. Let's pull over here. Let's just we'll turn on some ray tracing first. see how that affects the utilization. You know what? I think we'll just ramp it up to ray tracing ultra. We're not going overdrive because even the 4060 is not capable of that. But we'll do that. Still have DLSS off. That's all fine. Apply and. Ooh, that's not too bad. We get 30 odd FPS, which is fine. It's playable. Percentile lows are like closer. Oh no, it just stuttered there. So what is the culprit in this case? I mean, the 4060 is still not being maxed out. So I think we are getting a bottleneck here with the i5. Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's but we're still getting still playable. Very cinematic, sort of. So I think we're going to have to enable DLSS and see what what kind of frame we can get with the ultra settings. Right, we're going to enable DLSS balanced for now. See how that, and then we'll start adding these other settings into the mix, the frame generation and ray reconstruction. With DLSS set to balanced, we're getting about 30. Oh yeah, it's not that much better, to be honest. And the 40, oh, bloody hell, even the 10400F is being a massive bottleneck in this now. Is somehow that's that's odd. So yeah, we're getting 45% usage from the 4060 now. Just driving to this bit here. This all looks pretty cool. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, we're going to have to enable frame generation and see if that eases the bottleneck. Right, okay, so we'll enable frame generation. The DLSS has to be set to auto for that to be enabled, whatever. And that's made a significant difference. We're getting like 60 odd FPS now. That's a whole lot better than it was before, which we were like getting, what, 30 to 40 FPS. The percentile lows are still not great, and we're still getting the bottleneck from the i5. So, yeah, not going to get a bit better than that in this system. But, well, still at least a better experience, but you're still going to get some stuttering. So maybe, like, yeah, having a lower preset is probably the better option here, because yeah, that bottleneck's going to give you a bad time with the stuttering. But even so, if you want to make it look as nice as possible, you could probably maybe set a frame cap, 45 FPS maybe, bit of a sweet spot. Oh gee, and okay, right, okay. Tell you what we'll do is let's have a look and see what this ray tracing fancy feature does. Okay, so keeping the ultra settings, will enable path tracing, even though apparently it requires at least a GeForce RTX 4070 Ti or RTX 3090. We're going to do it anyway. And to be, I'm not sure. What is this? Why does it look like this? Actually, no. When in the shade, it looks a bit. What is that noise? That's weird. Maybe it's because the 4060 is not intended for this technology. But yeah, path tracing can't do it on the 4060. Definitely not. It's just not intended for this card. Hey, it was worth a shot. But yeah, ideal settings on Cyberpunk, high settings. You can add ray tracing into the mix if you wanted to, although you will get lower, understandable frame rates. But if you do enable frame generation. If you do enable frame generation, then yeah, we'll get significantly better performance. So if we just go back to high settings and we enable frame generation there, so we just set it to auto frame generation. So as you can see, we are getting 150 FPS with using frame gen, and that's at high settings. So yeah, if you want, obviously if you want high frame rates, frame gen does the job just absolutely perfectly, even on a 4060. I mean, it looks like we're still getting a bottleneck from the i5, but at least any stuttering you get is not noticeable. I mean, yeah, the percentile lows are pretty rubbish, but like I say, not noticeable. we're not getting any spikes on the frame time graph. So yeah, Forza Horizon 5 now, 1080p. We won't run it with any DLSS, and we're running this with the high preset. So let's go for a drive. God, why is it always right? There we go. No, okay, we're good. We're not utilising the oh god, we're still getting stuttering there. What's that about? I think we're still being bottlenecked by the by the i5 here. But I mean, we're getting 120 odd FPS. Oh geez. And yeah, I don't what is going on here. We're not making the most out of 4060 at all. Maybe if we set it to ultra, add some ray tracing. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that. Right, okay, fine. We'll set it to ultra, and we'll just see how much of an impact that has. Right, when I said ultra settings, I actually meant the extreme preset, which is the max settings you could go with. So still getting we're getting near 100 FPS. That is absolutely fine. So yeah, the 4060 is capable of running the Forza Horizon 5 at ultra settings at a decent frame rate. But yeah, the RTX, the 4060 is still not maxing out. We're still being bottlenecked by the 10400F by the looks of it. Or it could be the RAM. The RAM could be bottlenecking it with its crap speed. I don't know. But I mean, at least it's a bit more stable than the high preset, which is odd. But percentile lows are okay. But let's head into that little town and see if that impacts the frame rate at all. Right, so we made it into town, and yeah, the frame rate's dropped a bit to like 90 FPS, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, it runs fine at extreme settings. I think extreme also includes ray tracing. So yeah, the 4060 handles this absolutely fine. Of course, the downside is the 10400F's bottlenecking the GPU. But at least, you know, it runs at a reasonable frame rate. You know, if you didn't have Afterburner on, you wouldn't even notice. You wouldn't know you were being bottlenecked. So, I mean, if you are going to build a system with a 10th gen CPU, you know, the 10400F can be found for about £50 on the used market. There are worse options, and especially given that the i7, the 10700F, it's available for like, that's £100 on the used market, at least £100. So, and apparently there's not that much of a performance increase between the i7 and the i5 when it comes to gaming. But I don't know, that's just what I've read on the internet. Counter-Strike 2 now, we're going to run this at 1080p with the low preset, just to get the most frames as possible, see how the 4060 and the 10400F work together. So let's start up a bot match and see how we get on. Right, here we go, and we're getting 200 FPS. So obviously we're not maxing out either. So both the 4060 and the i5 are running very comfortably with each other. In fact, they've both got similar utilization, which is fine. I mean, the percentile lows are okay, but there's no noticeable stuttering. Oh my god, come on. Yeah, there's no noticeable stuttering. For some reason, the 4060 is no longer showing its power output. I did just update the drivers, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but I had to update the drivers because CS2 told me to. Because CS2's just had an update, and it needs more recent drivers. Oh well. Where is everyone? There you are. I see you. Bang bang, you're dead. But yeah, this is not much more to say. We're getting quite high frame rates at low settings. But what we'll do is we'll set it to the maximum settings and just see what difference that makes. Right, so we'll use the very high preset and. Oh, what the heck? Okay. So running at very high settings. Oh, okay. No, it's fine. Thought we had a massive bottleneck there with CPU, but no, it's fine. 120 FPS. that's still good if you got a high refresh rate monitor. But of course, as with most online competitors, high frame rates is better. But it's up to you what your preference is. We're still not maxing out the GPU or CPU. It's a well-optimized game. Well, mind you, though, the engine's quite old, isn't it not? Am I right? I don't know. But, come on. It's built in Source 2. That's quite a... It's not a brand new engine. But still runs very well. Still looks great. There's no stuttering. Well, no visible stuttering. I mean, the percentile lows are a bit... Not looking too good, but... Oh, come on. There you go. Yeah, the stuttering's not noticeable. Yeah. CS2 run absolutely fine, as you'd expect. Right, time for Starfield. Now, Bethesda have just dropped the latest update, which now includes DLSS and apparently some performance fixes as well. So we'll run this with the high preset for now, without any upscaling, just to so we've got a baseline, and in New Atlantis. So we're running this at 1080p, we're getting about 40-50 frames per second. That's without any upscaling, so it looks like we have got some improvement there in terms of performance already, which is pretty good. I mean, we are getting a odd bit of stutter here and there, but bear in mind we are in New Atlantis. The main issue here is we are getting some bottlenecking from the 10400F. The 46 is not being maxed out. Yeah, I mean, if this is what it's like on in New Atlantis, what's it going to be like on when there's not much going on, on a barren planet or moon. It should have been like this from the beginning. But better late than never, I guess. So what we'll do now is enable DLSS, see what kind of difference that makes. And then we'll also do it with some frame generation. Right, so we'll enable DLSS here. We'll set it to balanced. Won't have frame generation on just yet. It automatically sets the render resolution scale to 58%. So we'll just stick with the default. In fact, does it? Yeah, that's the default. I think, but yeah, we'll set it at 66%. I think is what we'll normally do, and. Yeah, we're seeing a bit of getting 55, 56 frames per second, still being held back by the i5, but still, I mean, it's not as stuttery. The percentile lows are around, just short of 40, which is fine. I'm just amazed at the difference it makes. But it's doing it. The mod was good, for the time being, but having proper DLSS, just the difference is night and day. So when we add frame generation to the mix, which of course is only available in 40 series cards, but yeah, we'll see what happens then. Right, I don't know why the motion blur is on. Let's get that off. So frame generation is now on. That also activates the NVIDIA Reflex low latency, which reduces system latency, increases PC responsiveness, and try that again, and would you look at that? In New Atlantis, we're getting over 100. Well, we're getting 100 frames per second. That is just, I don't know. It just feels like a completely different game now. I mean, we'll head to a different section of the town. Oh god, this is just, it just doesn't feel like the same game anymore. Go to residential. Now, if you see there, you look at the train, it does look a bit fuzzy, which that's not great. So the DLSS is kind of compromising in some places. Reset that counter, and in the busier area, we're getting around 90, 80, 90 FPS, which is still great. Well, for Starfield. But yeah, if this is what we get on a 4060, imagine what we could get on a more powerful CPU and a more powerful GPU for that matter. 4070 40. I reckon we could probably get like 120 to 140 FPS with frame generation. But yeah, we are getting a bit of stuttering there, but that's down to the CPU bottleneck, which is a shame. But yeah, but still, I mean, I have already tried this out on my 3060 at 1440p. Probably not getting as good results. I mean, probably getting this kind of frame rate on a barren planet, because obviously the 30 series doesn't have frame generation. But yeah, as I said before, the difference is night and day now. Bethesda, why can't you have done this in the first place? Yeah, the DLSS in native DLSS in Starfield now works great. Should have been there in the first place. If you've got a 40 series card, you're gonna get you even with a 4060, you'll look, if you enable frame generation, you're likely going to get over 100 FPS, especially on the barren planets. But even in the fact that we saw over 100 FPS in New Atlantis, when before we were looking to see like 40. Well, what we'll do is we'll crank it up a bit. I think we'll set it to 1440p and see what kind of difference that makes. We'll just crank it up 1440p ultra settings with frame gen, and just see how capable it is then. Alright, so we're going to use the ultra preset, upscaling DLSS with frame gen on, render resolution scale, just do it 60. Actually, what happens if I hello. So change the DLSS, it automatically sets the render resolution. Well, now I know. So we'll set it to balanced again. So that's the render resolution scale to 58%, which is fine. Pretty much 1080p there, and even then, we're getting like 60 odd FPS. So 1440p on a 4060 frame gen, which it's not brilliant, but we've maxed out, we're cranking up the settings there. But no, this is still playable. It's the fact that we're getting over 60 FPS in New Atlantis. Well, we've got a bit of a stutter there, but we're still getting a bit of a bottleneck. I mean, the 4060 is seeing the most utilization now, which is what we want to see. But we still get the odd stutter. Depending on what the i5 is doing, it might drag down the 4060 every now and then. But then again, it could be the RAM speed. The RAM speed could be the bottleneck at 2667 megahertz. It's not great. You need at least 3200. But that's the speed that the i5 1040F supports. If you to upgrade to an i7, I think the i7 supports like just short of 3 gigahertz. So you'd probably get that. I don't know. I don't understand how all that works. But the fact is, the motherboard doesn't support XMP. The BIOS is locked down quite significantly, so you can't change memory speed or anything like that. No overclocking. But yeah, we're getting like averaging 70 FPS now. Still great, and it looks absolutely fantastic, even with DLSS. I mean, I get a bit of noise from that. You can see some, but it's not as noticeable as like with FSR. But yeah, good job Bethesda, I guess. Never mind. So, conclusion time. Firstly, the 4060 is not worth upgrading to if you have a 3060. Yes, you get frame generation, which you only get with the 40 series, but there are a very small number of games that currently support this. Also, you get less VRAM, 8GB on the 4060 against the 3060 12GB. However, if you only have a PC like this, with say a GTX 1650, then there's nothing wrong with going for a 4060. The one I have is currently available for less than £300 brand new. As for the HP PC as a whole, what I think holds the system back is the RAM speed, which is 2667 MHz and cannot be changed in the BIOS, so we're not getting the full potential. That said, I think one of these systems can be a good buy at the right price. However, upgrading it can be pricey, especially the PSU, which can set you back £80 for an upgrade. Not only that, the highest wattage PSU you can get for this system is 500 watts, so you'd be limited to which GPU you can buy for it anyway. But I think a 4060 is more than enough for this system. The only CPU you can upgrade to is the i7-10700F, and my understanding of the CPU is that it's not worth the upgrade. Unfortunately, this system is not compatible with 11th gen Intel CPUs. However, the 10400F is still a viable option in 2023 and can be bought new for around £100 or half that on the used market if you're considering building a system from scratch with one of these chips. So that's all for this video. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and leave a comment down below about your thoughts on this system. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.